Issue. We're now joined from our Polokwane studios by political analyst Elvis Masoga. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the program. Perhaps let me start by asking you, is it a surprise that the ANC's National Integrity Committee has made this recommendation that these leaders implicated in the VBS scandal step aside?
Peter, let me first, convey my greetings to you and all the viewers of SABC News. Let me begin by saying that, the ANC is caught between a rock and a very hard place here. Because remember, firstly, the ANC does not have any standing policy or resolution whatsoever that says any member or leader who is implicated in any wrongdoing must step aside from his or her leadership responsibilities. And that is a powerful political weakness that to a large extent it will incapacitate the ANC national leadership to can take any decision whatsoever, because secondly, there are several leaders of the ANC at regional, provincial and even national level who are implicated in varieties of wrongdoings, unlawfulness and illegality. Some are even attending different court trials, but they are still occupying their positions of leadership. So I don't know how Little House will navigate through that particular paradox, because there is a law of general application. What happens on the left must also happen on the right-hand side. So if you are saying, understandably, I understand the gravity and the magnitude of the allegations that are contained in the Great Bank Haste report, but at the same time, how do you allow others who are implicated in wrongdoings to continue to serve in their leadership structures, but when you come to another allegation, you say these ones must step aside? I think the ANC must tread very, very carefully with regard to that.
All right, so recently, the Deputy Secretary General, Jesse Duarte, responding to issues of people being named in the state capture report, she said that, look, people should only be dealt with after they've been found guilty in a court of law. Up until then, they are innocent. And so, as you say, perhaps this is sending a mixed message, mixed signal, because we saw John Block, former Northern Cape chairperson of the ANC. It was only after he was found guilty in court did he resign as chairperson. So what do we make of this? These guys in the VBS report, and this isn't a presidential inquiry, it literally is an internal inquiry, have been named and they're being asked to go.
Yeah, like I'm saying, Peter, that, we must always guard against application of double standards, not only in politics, but anywhere else. Because, justice is premised upon the virtues of fairness and impartiality. We can't condone the thieving, the looting, the wastage that characterize the VBS bank robbery. We can't condone that. Justice must prevail. But at the same time, procedural fairness is very much important, including even for the ANC leadership. What do they say about other leaders of the ANC who are going through their court trials, but they are still part of the PCs, they are still part of the NEC? What about other leaders of the ANC who are facing various forms of accusations, allegations, and condemnation in the public domain? Will the Integrity Commission say they must also step aside? I think fairness is very much important, because in as much as we have been angered by this looting and thieving at VBS, we must never undermine the virtues of fairness and impartiality. If you say these ones must step aside, then all the others who are implicated, who are going through different court trials, must also, confront the same fate. Because right now, what kind of justice will it be if you say we only concentrate on this VBS one, but all these others who are involved in other nefarious things, then they must just go free? I think That's why I call upon the leadership of the ANC at Luthuli House level to tread very, very, very carefully in considering this recommendation from the Integrity Commission. Remember, Integrity Commission is not a constitutional decision-making structure of the ANC. It is a suggestive or a recommendational structure that advises Luthuli House, and Luthuli House, through its National Executive Committee, will make a final determination.
Do you think that the party's Integrity Commission is quite clear about its mandate in terms of making judgments on people's behavior? Because integrity might not always be about crime, but maybe just behavior that brings the party into disrepute. So might it be enough that they've been implicated and not that a legal process needs to follow? Where does it draw the line, I guess, is where I'm going to.
Yeah, you know, Peter, that important question of yours is correctly answered by the failure of the ANC to develop a policy that explains a measuring yardstick to say the moment your misbehavior or your impropriety goes beyond this threshold, then you must appear before the Integrity Commission. Unfortunately, throughout all the national conferences of the ANC and policy conferences, they have never developed that particular policy that says there is a measuring yardstick that says this kind of misbehavior, improprieties and irregularities are way beyond the threshold, then you are liable to appear before disciplinary committee. And in the absence of that, you can't talk about justice, because you can't close your eyes when Elvis Masoga is committing a criminal offense, but when somebody else is committing a criminal offense, you open your eyes and say, let's arrest that one. The law of general application must apply across the board. If the Integrity Commission says all ANC leaders who are going through court trials, who are implicated in corruption and other nefarious activities, must step aside from their leadership position, that is justice, that is fairness, that is impartiality.
All right, Mr. Masoga, we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks very much indeed for joining us on the program and giving us your insights.